What's up, it's your boy Wex Breaking the Lawson coming to you today with the AEW Dynamite review. But before we get to that review, I'm just going to tell you a couple things we got going on. October 30th, Centerville, Tennessee, Stables Event Center, Revive Pro Wrestling Bump in the Night 2. Your boy Wex Breaking the Lawson and my buddy Jesse Baker will be out there on commentary. Centerville, Tennessee, the Stables Event Center, only $10. Kids get in for free, and they're also doing some like Halloween costume candy bullshit for them too. So bring your kids, it's gonna be a good time. We have a solid main event with the Revive Pro Champion. The Hellbilly Horror Show, the Revive Pro Champion, Uncle Biff, is gonna be taking on and defending his title against All Business James Bandy in a blow-off to a feud that's been going on for a couple months. And also, we got some big names on the show. Brian Pillman Jr. and Impact Wrestling star, former X Division champion Ace Austin. So get ready for some wrestling and get ready for a fucking Dynamite review that's gonna be the best thing you've ever fucking seen in your life. And this is Wex Breaking the Lawson coming to you live. Alright y'all, this week's episode of AEW Dynamite started off in the backstage area right before the match between Wardlow and Hangman Adam Page, and MJF is talking shit about how Wardlow's his property, and if he wins the title, then that becomes his title. And then as he's talking his shit, you know, Sammy Guevara pops in and he's like, fuck you MJF, I don't want you in the inner circle, I don't want your bullshit, fuck off. And then MJF starts talking a bunch of shit and says he looks like he sells Adderall to fucking middle schoolers, whatever, and then he sits there, stays quiet, and he's like, what, you can't think of anything to say? What are you gonna do? He's like, no, I'm thinking of everything I'm gonna do to you. It was really fiery, I like the passion, and that led off to Wardlow going down the ramp for the first match of the night. Alright, this match started off really hot. Hangman Adam Page came in with like a fucking real fast drop kick, started laying in furious strikes just on Wardlow is getting in there, but the Wardlow, a lot bigger, a lot stronger, was just way too fucking strong for Hangman, and he just couldn't do it. And he was just power move after power move, like a big gut wrench power bomb. You know, Hangman Page was getting the fucking dog shit beat out of him, and Hangman eventually got a little bit of momentum. He did a nice moonsault from the outside, a running shooting star press, but then Wardlow reversed his buckshot lariat and just took control again, and eventually Hangman dug down deep and hit one and then a second buckshot lariat on Wardlow for the 1-2-3 emphatic pin to go on to the second round of the tournament. Alright, next we got a solid little promo package highlighting the feud between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, and Moxley cut a pretty fucking good promo, and I'm usually not a big fan of Moxley, but him versus Eddie Kingston, they just had me intrigued because Eddie Kingston is just so goddamn good on the mic. I think it's bringing out the best of Jon Moxley, and he had a nice little protect your neckline. Shout out to Wu-Tang Clan. Alright, and next up we got a big match leading up from that promo, Eddie Kingston versus the high-flying Matt Sydal. These guys worked a really good match. They had a really good contrast of styles here. Matt Sydal basically was trying to go for submissions the whole time, while Eddie Kingston was just kind of playing the powerhouse, big dog, just whoop your ass bruiser type of thing that he usually does in the matches, which works well. I really like the way Matt Sydal was working the whole arm psychology with Eddie Kingston, kept trying to get him in the Cobra Clutch, but he just wouldn't do it, he just kept powering out. And then once we went to that commercial and commercial break, Eddie Kingston really took advantage, started just beating the shit out of him. And then we came back, Matt Sydal got a few offensive moves in, but nothing that could really take Eddie Kingston down. Then before we know it, got him with the kitchen sink, spinning back fist, took him down to the mat, and then instead of pinning him, he locked in Moxley's bulldog choke and just fucking cranked back, and he tapped out, but he just wouldn't let go, and he wouldn't let go until he got Matt Sydal when he looked at him and said, Moxley, say I quit. Obviously, sending a real serious fucking message to Jon Moxley. 1, 2, 3. Eddie Kingston gets the victory.
There goes the condom.
Damn, I dropped it. Eddie Kingston cock is so big, it's knocking condoms down off camera. He's that good. The next segment, we got the Young Bucks doing a backstage interview with Excalibur, also with FTR and Tully Blanchard from a different location. And quickly, the interview just kind of got out of hand. FTR's healing it up, talking a lot of shit, basically saying, this interview's all about the Young Bucks, he's your friend, you know, just basically talking all that classic FTR shit, healing it up, doing what they need to do. They decided, fuck this interview, we're out of here. They left. And then the Young Bucks really got to dig down deep with Excalibur, and they were like, fuck the FTR pricks, they're bringing back the fucking passion, the old shit, that super kick party, suck it, suck it, suck it, the real Young Bucks that I became a fan of back in the early days of their New Japan run. Like, I'm talking about the good old attitude, the heel Young Bucks, dude. Like, I'm ready for this matchup, it's gonna be really fucking sick. FTR, their style's gonna mesh good with the Young Bucks. I'm a mark for the Young Bucks. They're my favorite team, and I know a lot of people fucking hate them because they don't like the flipping flops, but if you don't like the Young Bucks, I got 2 words for you. One main point that I don't want to forget is that they decided to add the Cody stipulation in this match. If the Young Bucks do not win the AEW World Tag Team Champions, they will never, ever challenge them again. And speaking of Cody, our next matchup is Cody versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy in the first ever TNT title lumberjack match. So, you know, of course, Cody's got to come out with his pompous-ass, ridiculous entrance with all the fucking pyro that, like, basically they can probably afford for the fucking month, you know. Pretty ridiculous. Jericho's pretty close behind him, but Cody has an outrageous fucking entrance. And I know Cody's a babyface, but really just the way he looks, the way he comes to the ring, his whole fucking thing, he just makes me want to fucking boo him. He oozes heel he just oozes heel to me. I don't know if it's just me, but he's just so goddamn pompous. Great wrestler, but his goddamn, like, babyface shit is so heel to me right now. This matchup, the lumberjack match, it pretty much had all the heels on one side, all the faces on one side. It didn't really seem like your traditional lumberjack match to where if you get tossed out, they beat the shit out of you and throw you back in. They kind of weren't really doing that, but it did work to their advantage. There was a really cool spot where Orange Cassidy did the trust fall, and the best friends caught him. The best friends pushed him back in the ring, helped him get back into the match, but when Cody came to that same spot, they caught him and said, fuck you, Cody, which is exactly the same thing I would have did, because fuck Cody. I would have dropped you. But I see what they're doing. The best friends, they're gonna help their friend. They're not gonna fucking help Cody win the title. They're gonna help Orange Cassidy win the title. Last week's TNT title match between them that went to a time limit draw was obviously a better match ring-wise, ring work-wise, with like everything they were doing back and forth, but this definitely was not a bad match, and there were some big spots going on. Big spots including a huge superplex from the top rope to the outside and all the lumberjacks. I thought that was pretty impressive. And a big fuck. I ripped the mic out. And before we knew it, all hell broke loose. And while the ref was distracted, my favorite member of the Dark Order, John Silver, ran in the ring and hit a fat-ass pump kick to the side of Orange Cassidy's head. And then, as Orange Cassidy was falling over, Arn Anderson hit him with a cheap shot from the outside too, all while Cody was down, so he didn't even see the kick. Cody goes over, sees him down, 1, 2, 3, boom, he retains the title. Obviously, I think it's because John Silver, working with the Dark Order with Mr. Brody Lee, wants to keep that title on Cody because Brody Lee wants Cody, not Orange Cassidy. And then right after that, we get a pretty cool announcement on the pre-show of the upcoming pay-per-view. We're gonna get John Silver versus Orange Cassidy, which I usually never watch pre-shows, but I'm damn sure gonna check this one out. The next segment of the night, we got the town hall meeting between the Inner Circle and MJF to basically determine, is he gonna be able to join the Inner Circle or not? Before this segment, all I was thinking is, Le Dinner Debonair was the best thing I've seen in years. I don't know how you're gonna follow that up. I love that shit. I know people like Cornette hated it. Cornette was like, wah, wah, wah. 1987 wrestling. All right, the town hall meeting between MJF and the Inner Circle started off pretty much like any traditional town hall meeting. They had everybody set up. They had a few moderators with Tony Schiavone and Dasha, depending on what show she's on's last name. I don't want to get it wrong this time. I know she was Fuentes and she's something else. I don't know. Dasha, let's just call her that, all right? Fuck it. First question of the town hall meeting of the night came from my main man Luchasaurus, which you probably can't see because it's going to be greened out because he's green. The oldest member of the roster, being born, they said, like 1 billion years BC or some bullshit like that, but he gave a classic, intelligent business question to MJF about how he was going to financially help the Inner Circle prosper into the future. Because, you know, he has a master's degree and shit like that. He always talks about it. Shout out to Luchasaurus. MJF put some dumb little graphic line saying he's going to shoot him to the moon. Bunch of little bullshit back and forth. Eric Bischoff made an appearance, because everybody loves Eric B. We got a hot little moment from Tony Schiavone telling Chris Jericho to shut up because he was pissed off that Eric Bischoff called him a prima donna, which everybody knows how Jericho is. You know what I'm saying? Basically, it boiled down to, like they talked about, is MJF going to be a team player? How can we count on you to not turn on us? And he said, I've done everything. I've given you presents. I've taken you out to a fucking steak dinner. I've done everything for you, Jericho. What can I do to prove to you? And he's like, there's one thing you haven't done. Jericho said, you haven't beat me. So of course MJF accepts the match, and he says, but let me tell you one thing, Chris Jericho, I'm gonna do anything to win. And Chris Jericho goes, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from me. He's like, no, you don't understand. I will do anything. Basically threatening to fucking kill him. This is gonna be an amazing matchup. I can't wait. MJF is one of the best young heels, talents, and whatever you want to call it in the business. And I know Jericho, hopefully, will put him over and help elevate him because Jericho is on that back tail of his career and he can barely squeeze into them tights anymore. And I'd like to rather see him in the commentary booth, rather hear him in the commentary booth and not really so much see him, rather hear him because he's damn good on commentary and he's almost getting a little bit past his prime. And I saw that little airbrush hair fill in. Alright, up next, we had a pretty cool backstage little promo from Team Taz. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks flanked on each side, and he's basically still trying to get Will Hobbs to come to the team. Just kind of re-highlighting a little feud over that with Darby Allin involved, and Brian Cage got his classic little 2 lines in because he's not very good on the mic, but he's a damn good worker. And that led on to the next section. Oh shit, the mic. It's CBD, dude. Alright, the next matchup of the night, usually the most disappointing match of the night when it comes to AEW, the weakest point of the show, always, the women's division, but this time, I was actually very surprised, and probably because AEW's best women matches are usually involved with women who aren't even really on the roster, like when we got Shida versus Thunder Rosa. This matchup was probably one of my favorite ones of the night, and actually really surprised me. Serena Deeb coming back to AEW. Returning actually this time, she won the NWA Women's World Championship the night before from Thunder Rosa. Surprisingly, that completely shocked me. I don't know which direction that's going. If they there's rumors that Thunder Rosa's gonna leave, go to WWE. I hope not. AEW needs to lock her down because she's definitely one of the best female wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers I've seen wrestle in a long time, definitely on TV for sure. But this next matchup, we got Serena Deeb going up against Laila Hirsch, who I've never seen wrestle before this match. And I instantly became a fan of her. Like, she had some fucking innovative offense. Laila Hirsch seriously hit one of the sickest moves I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen this shit before. She went in for the Meteora and then kind of stalled, lifted up, and then hit a drop kick and rolled back. Like, I thought that was sick. These two women worked a great match together. Laila Hirsch has the amateur wrestling background. She was hitting all types of mat-based moves, reversing submissions, rolling up pins. She was doing it all. I really enjoyed her, and Serena Deeb always puts on a great match. She's a veteran, a fucking solid ring worker. They went back and forth. Hirsch seemed to be getting like all the momentum. Then Deeb got a nice comeback, hit some palm strikes and shit, and she went down and locked in the classic Tequila Sunrise for the submission victory. Winner and still NWA World Women's Champion, Serena Deeb. Alright, next up, we got the most anticipated match of the whole card. The cleaner Kenny Omega versus Penta El Zero M, or Pentagon Jr., or Penta El Zero Miedo, depending on which promotion he's working for at the time. This match has big stakes because the winner of this match goes on to face Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear for the #1 contender for the AEW World Championship. This week, Kenny Omega came down to the ring with another cocky, cleaner entrance, all included with the women sweeping the brooms, his extended, long introduction by Justin Roberts, naming off everything he's ever fucking done in his life. And then one thing that I want to point out that happened last week too at the end of the promo, he mentioned something about North Carolina, and I think that's a very important thing you need to look at because FTR are from North Carolina, and I just think that there might be planting a little seed there for Kenny Omega to maybe turn heel and join with him. This match had some fucking amazing heel work from Kenny Omega. He came to the ring wearing a ratherly oversized shirt for Kenny Omega because, you know, he's a body guy. He's got to show it off, but he had a pretty loose-fitting shirt, and I was kind of confused about it. And they started off the match a little slow, and then Kenny slowly lifted up to reveal he was wearing the AEW Mega Championship that he actually won from Pentagon's brother Phoenix, and he fucking played the best mind games, taunting them with the belt, got in their head right from the beginning. Pentagon was going all out, being relentless. They were both going back and forth. You saw all the big moves. Package pile driver, the Terminator dive over the fucking top rope. There was even a spot where they went out to the barricade and Kenny Omega DDT'd him onto a cooler, which was fucking sick. The match was just intense and all kind of came down to a head when Kenny was setting up Pentagon for the one-winged angel, then he reversed out, took him down, and hit him with the classic arm breaker. And that kind of set Kenny back for a minute, but the cleaner's fucking relentless, and before we knew it, he got him back up onto his shoulder. One-winged angel, 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega's the winner, advancing on to go face Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear for the #1 contendership. And the show went off the air with Kenny Omega sitting, holding that AAA Mega Championship, just talking shit away to the camera, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming up next. And holy shit, what a dynamite that was. I thought it was a great show from top to bottom, honestly. I will say that last week's Les Dinner Debonair kind of made the town hall meeting seem not as cool, but it definitely helped further the storyline, so I'm not really going to fault it for that. Overall, this show, I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5 2 sweets.